a terrible tragedy at Notre Dame, which is, of course, they lost their football game.
Right. If you were on Twitter last night, that seems like the only tragedy that happened at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, look, was a girl raped and it drove her to suicide? Maybe.
But why talk about that on game day?
Guys, how am I supposed to watch a football being thrown to a man if I have to think about a girl being raped and then committing suicide, right? We're a herd of boys raped at Notre Dame. Yes. Yeah, sure. But what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, right? The real tragedy is that in a game where people throw a ball into a giant fork, Notre Dame's number was lower than whatever other team they were playing.
Yeah.
So I apologize. Next season, maybe a little less rape, a little more practice.
Maybe, though. I mean,
like,
unless you guys don't want to do that and you want to keep raping, in which case no one will stop you.
Well, no, because
you play football.
The town really seems to love football, so you're not going to be held accountable. But if I were a coach, here's what I'd say. I'd say gather around young lads. Mm-hmm. And then, one of the guys would make a joke like, "You're not going to rape me like Sandusky, right?" And I'd be like, "Ha ha ha, you."
Right.
And then I'd say, look, we could spend this season sexually assaulting women.
Right.
Like we usually do.
Yep.
Right? You're not going to go to jail. You're not even going to be kicked off the football team.
Certainly not. Because, again, football.
But if you want to maybe win next time, I would say the next time you're like I'm going to rape, maybe just do some wind sprints.
Maybe. I mean, like, in terms of helping us win games, that seems like the better strategy.
Yeah. Now, if we were playing rape ball,
which isn't a thing, except
it could be in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If it was going to be a thing, my God, it would be here. And you boys, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be prouder. Mm-hmm. I could not be prouder. Mm-hmm. You would win.
Mm-hmm. And again, no one would stop you.
No, certainly not the police.
No. Because again, they love football.
The administration, they're going to make any women just feel like it's their fault.
Right.
Until, again, like we saw, they eventually commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, if you're like, that girl looks really drunk, should I try to have sex with her? Or maybe take a jog. Maybe
work on some cardio.
Maybe run some laps. Maybe some burpees. Mm-hmm. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Right.
And then everybody cheers.
Yeah.
We want to get to, Allison wants to get to the Notre Dame rape cases that we were talking to.
Yep.
Something that I totally forgot that is actually getting some play on some good blogs today. Apparently during the game, all anybody could talk about, like pundits, announcers, were how hot the girlfriends of these college players were. Mm-hmm. And my favorite exchange was Eric Erickson, who was like known to be a fucking, right-wing, horrible hack troll. Does he still work for CNN? At one point
Erickson?
He was hired,
yeah.
He was commenting on how hot like the quarterback's wife was and was or girlfriend and was like, "This is why I want my son to play football or be the quarterback or whatever, so he can get hot chicks."
And then when people are like, "You're disgusting," he's like, "So now I can't even compliment a pretty girl."
No, so fucking,
why are you mad?
Britt Hume, who I didn't even know was on Twitter, just like the old John Kerry looking dude from Fox News, tweets Eric Erickson unprompted and goes, "Watch out, buddy. Twitter's going to get awfully mad. Nowadays, you can't even call a girl pretty." Mm-hmm. And I was like, like just watching those two bond over just salivating over girls they could never get was so gross. Mm-hmm. Especially because, again, I didn't think Britt Hume, like, even tweets. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that I just wanted to bring up and just kind of go, ugh.
Is that like the new equivalent of dudes just desperately honking their horns at girls? Just desperately tweeting things she's never going to read?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think you're pretty. She can't hear you, buddy.
And if
can't
she
hear
could,
you.
she would. She'd call her boyfriend over.
She'd be horrified.
And her football boyfriend would beat you up.